Hello, it's Randi Rhodes. Here's a clip from our show, and go to randyrhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.
Mary had a little man.
The fault. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon. I have a dream today. Change has come to America.
Believe me.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show.
Turn up your mind.
The voters may have to wait a while for this race to be called, but CNN has learned the Trump campaign won't necessarily wait for news organizations to make that call. That's even if a large number of mail-in ballots remain uncounted. The Trump campaign, we're told, plans to be very aggressive and is preparing to declare victory if the president is close to, but doesn't clinch, the 270 electoral votes needed to win re-election. Now, that would represent a break from practices in every modern election and defy basic common sense. It appears President Trump faces an uphill battle fight in Pennsylvania, perhaps the most important of all battleground states for him. So what's he doing? He's laying the groundwork for a legal fight. Mail-in ballots in Pennsylvania can arrive up to 3 days after Election Day and still be counted there. That's a decision for now that the U.S. Supreme Court lets stand and the president wants to challenge.
I think it's a terrible decision by the Supreme Court. A terrible decision. Now, I don't know if that's going to be changed because we're going to go in the night of. As soon as that election's over, we're going in with our lawyers.
It's important to recognize here, of course, that vote counting always continues beyond election night. Pennsylvania is one of 22 states plus Washington, D.C. that will count votes arriving after Election Day. That also includes the swing states of North Carolina and Ohio.
Oh! Hello, everybody. You ready? You ready? It's going to be unbelievable. Holy crap, the intimidation has begun. The violence is out there. The threats are... Strap in. That's what you just strap on in. We're here with you. You're here with me. We'll get through this. It's just messy. It's just messy. You know, part of me, I will tell you, is panicked. And another part of me is not, because all of me is not panicked. Do you know what I mean? Do you have that feeling? It's like, you know that, even when Biden wins, that we're going to have to spend every single second up until January 20th, not to jinx it. Do you know what I'm saying? It's, wow, this is so unbelievable. And he's already threatening lawyers, which means he knows he lost. He knows he lost. And this sentiment of his that he's going to declare victory before all the ballots are counted, because that's what he did with COVID. And look how well that worked. We had 99,000 cases in one day on Friday. 99,000 cases in one. It looks like the doctors are calling this down to almost a person, down to almost a man. And Donald Trump is threatening to fire the doctors. Literally. He's spreading this lie. We heard it once. I heard it 3 times over the weekend. That doctors profit off of COVID when they put the cause of death on a birth certificate as being COVID. Now, you wonder, how could a person even think of such a thing? Because it's not true. And then you realize that that is exactly what Trump would do if Trump were a doctor. Can you imagine if Trump were a doctor? Can you imagine? I mean, I still don't think he would be able to have killed as many people as he did as president. But if Trump were a doctor, he probably would have just ended up at Housing and Urban Development like Ben Carson, a brain surgeon in charge of housing. But instead, or, like Dr. Scott Atlas, who's his guru now, a radiologist. Dr. Atlas, ended up with a fabulous career on Fox News as a guest, right? That's the extent of his expertise. And then this weekend, Dr. Scott Atlas literally went on Russian state television. Yeah, he was on Russia Today. He did not know that Russia Today was a foreign agent. It is. And now he says he was duped He was duped. So I'm so glad he's in charge of the coronavirus, the pandemic. I'm so glad he is. This is just unbelievable. But we had a lot of problems over the weekend, a lot of incidents, okay? This is what people do when they know they're outnumbered. They start to intimidate people with their small groups. And, of course, these people know they're outnumbered. They just do. That's why they're driving around in trucks. I've seen them in Florida. You saw what did you see what happened in Texas? This is how it started. It started in Texas on Friday. You had Kamala, believe it or not. She was doing whistle stops in Texas. I mean, she was having campaign rallies in Texas, and a bunch of Trumpanzees decided to try and run the bus off the road by surrounding the bus with their F-150s, but with their trucks. And then one of them actually became so violent and so agitated with the mere presence of a bus that had Biden's name on it. That just triggered him. And so there was an escort car, and he tried to knock the escort car out of his way so he could knock the bus off the road. Well, they got in front of the bus, on the side of the bus, and in the back of the bus, and then they tried to slow the bus down to like 20 miles an hour. The police had to be called. The police had to escort the bus. And then I guess they were in Pflugerville. They were trying to go to Pflugerville, Texas, and they had to postpone the rally, cancel the rally, actually, because tomorrow's Election Day, because there were armed protesters at the site of the rally. In Graham, North Carolina, you had like souls to the polls. You had a bunch of people that were being led by a Reverend Greg Drumright, and he was leading his parishioners to the courthouse to take a knee for 8 minutes and 46 seconds in memory of George Floyd, and then they were going to go to a polling place and they were going to cast their ballots. Didn't happen because the police in Graham, North Carolina, decided that they were going to pepper spray this group, and this group was literally obstructed from casting their votes, right? They could not cast their votes. That's illegal, by the way. And then, I was like, what kind of a police department is this? Turns out, I look up this police department. It's Alamance County. You could do it too, but it's in the homework for your ease. Just go to randirhodes.com and click on the homework, and you'll see it. It's a Department of Justice press release from 2012. It was a 2-year investigation, started in 2010, into this particular sheriff's department and this particular police force. And the Justice Department found reasonable cause to believe that the Alamance County Sheriff's Office engages in a pattern and practice of discriminatory policing, especially against Latinos, in violation of the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. Yeah, it bullet points all the different things, including, racial epithets, explicitly instructing deputies to target people based on their skin color, uses jail booking and detention practices, including practices related to immigration status checks that discriminate against Latinos. They arrest Latinos for minor traffic violations. They don't give citations even to non-colored people. And they practice putting checkpoints in neighborhoods they don't like based on the ethnicity. They routinely locate the checkpoints just outside of neighborhoods, forcing residents to endure police stops when entering or exiting their communities, and that they are about 10 times more likely to stop Latino drivers than non-Latino drivers. On and on it goes. And that is this particular sheriff's office that pepper sprayed not just congregants of adult age, but children. They pepper sprayed children. They tackled children. I have the videos. And then crazy Trump supporters in New Jersey and New York, right on the border there, they decided that they were going to jam the Garden State Parkway. Are you freaking kidding? Did you learn nothing from Chris Christie? People don't like it when you mess with traffic. They don't like it. It pisses them off. It makes them mad. I mean, it's like one against the other now. It's just so bizarre and unforgivable, really. Go to RandiRhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.